And so, Arthur, I'll let you tell us a bit about this. We just discussed directing the video. Now we're going to go over a bit of the photos, which was a whole other half of this campaign that,
It was a whole other monster.
It was a monster.
It was a monster. So we had to deliver key visuals. So key visuals are basically like their main visuals that they would use for their ad campaigns, whether they're print, out of home, social media.
Single photo.
These are single photos, yes.
Yeah.
So
with graphics, some sort of graphic message to it.
yes. So we did 3 photos, but each photo would have two different versions, which is a horizontal and a vertical. So this one we call KV1. It's basically the guy on the chair with the carousels kind of popping up, and you can see the different cars he's looking at. So that's this first version. This one's emphasis on buying cars online. So their main selling point.
Mm-hmm. And then there's a vertical for it.
There's a vertical for it, right? So for magazines and whatnot. And then you have this KV2 is this one, which is basically delivering nationwide. The cheetah driving in, you can see there's kind of a stream in the back that the car is coming in fast. And then there's a vertical version of it as well. And then you have what we call KV3, which is the return policy with money back. So it's that one there. So 3-day money back guarantee. Yeah. And then they have like the warranty symbol on the bottom. So this is what we kind of delivered. And just so like people that are watching don't feel like, oh, wait, why is there like a lot of empty space and stuff like that? So just to...
Here, you mean?
Yeah. So that's supposed to have like copies and stuff like that. But in the end, like there was kind of some, I would say there was some back and forth internally with our clients that kind of, they couldn't
make a decision. I'll just say it. They couldn't make a decision.
On the final, like what they want to say and stuff like that.
So this actual thing that we gave them was a working file.
So yeah, in the end, we send these as working files.
So this stuff has probably changed. There's no telling. They may have changed it and made 6 versions of it that we don't know about it or something.
Probably, but at the end of the day, like we didn't just take the photos, right? We actually had a whole process of coming up with the copy, the headers, the subheaders. We came up with some of the symbols that you see in the bottom. Some of them the clients already had. Some we had to create.
These things here.
Some of them.
Yeah, I remember in the very beginning they had like 8 or something, right?
Yeah, they had quite a lot, but like fast delivery to your doorstep, that one's us. We created that. And like free nationwide delivery they had for Singapore, which that's supposed to be. We made a version for Thailand.
So one thing to just point out is this whole thing, right, where it had this many icons, right? Like, I remember it was a big thing that we had to talk with them, the attention span of the viewer, right? Or it'd be the audience for the photos, whatever, right? Or the video as well, right? It was, if you have 8 different icons or 6 different icons, like no one has time to figure that out or read it.
Yeah.
Even though these are all important messages to the client, like it's a less is more situation. If you have 8 different messages, right, plus the message of overall message, right? Like you're trying to tell them 9 things with one photo. It just doesn't, it's not possible. So, it's a good thing for clients that are listening to this to just, it's just one thing that helps understand, like if you have one simple, concise message, it's like marketing to a niche, right? Like, you know who your audience is. Well,
here, if you zoom out, right, I would say like the main message, delivery nationwide, right? That one's clear. Buy online, we deliver nationwide. And then these 3 on the bottom were...
Right. And we actually have the message again here, free nationwide delivery.
Yeah, which I think for me, right, I think it's not wrong to do that because even though like, okay, their attention span's short, you still kind of fill in that gap of information. Right now, imagine if you didn't have that, it's just an empty space with nothing and it would kind of look weird. I think the lesson learned here is kind of, you can't think of especially your prints as being a one size fits all. Like you're going to need to customize them for the different places. The way it is would work on a billboard. It would not, for me, I don't think it would work on the BTS, like on a transportation. or in a subway, you know, while you're waiting, there's that big poster behind you. That doesn't work because it doesn't give enough information.
Every application, yeah, it has a different time span as well, right?
Yes.
If your traffic's moving, that limits it, right? That there's a certain way that you have to come across. Anyways, okay, let's get past these icons. We're starting to talk like we're clients. About the icons.
Yeah.
Get into the juicy
the juicy
details of those photos
of how the photos were taken.
Oh yeah.
So now I'm more of like the producer. So for me, like these little details are juicy.
So the key messages for all three of these was just to recap.
So there was you can buy
online with your phone.
Yes. You can we deliver nationwide, right? And then it's a 3-day money back guarantee for Singapore. Thailand, I think it's 5 or 7 days.
Something like that, yeah. So you get money back, right? Or sorry, you can return the car.
Yeah.
Is essentially what they're trying to say. So there's no risk, right?
Exactly.
This is essentially risk-free for you. So that was the three things. Or the three key messages. So with that, this whole process we mentioned in the other videos, right? The other podcast about creating the video, the process doing this during COVID, trying to get this off the ground was a whole challenge for the video and making the animal heads and how that whole process was. The photos was a whole other thing. That was really kind of like, Eric, I don't know how it was from your perspective on this, because I was controlling, as a director, I was controlling how all the animal heads ended up, or trying to control them the best I could with the client. And then whatever we ended up with, you were going to have to make work with the photos, right? It was a whole other like magic process that you had to have. And work with the client like I did on the day of, right? Like after I got done shooting my scenes, you move in and shoot your photos, and now you're dealing with the client and having to make the client happy when you've had not a lot of input up until that point.
Yeah, it was quite stressful, I must say. Because I had like an hour or less than that, like 30 minutes.
Yeah, photos. I don't know what it is, but photos, and I'm sorry, but photos always get the short end in the end, man.
Yes.
When you're doing this type of thing where it's like photos and videos, they always do.
Yeah, that was normally you get a lot
Unfortunately.
more time.
Yeah.
Normally I would love a lot more time, and you do.
Well, you need a whole day to do these, just like the video.
This would have been at least a full day, but we did it in less than 2 hours, all the photos?
You got about 30 minutes per setup.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
and it was just like
the dad on the chair and this one right here, you had 30 minutes. The truck coming in, you had about an hour to shoot it.
So I had to basically.
This was one day to do these two. No, all three of them. They're the same day, right?
All three the same day.
Yeah, wow.
It was very difficult, and the lighting too. So it's just like you guys were starting to set up lighting for your other shots, and I was like barely had any lights left.
Yeah, because we're like, hey, we need those for our set. And you're like, no, but I need them for my set.
Yeah, exactly.
And they're like, yeah, but we're doing
video guys.
Video's more important. Yeah,
you're just doing the photos. Yeah, this is what I'm talking about.
I felt like
I'm sorry.
Behind the scenes.
Yeah, you're like the stepchild, right?
Yeah, exactly. I was the I was the stepchild. Exactly. I was Cinderella. On that day. Yeah,
it's difficult. I think that's the other thing is difficult, right? Like also because when we're shooting the commercial, one of the differences with the photos is like if it's not like a heavy VFX spot, like VFX or CG for the commercial, it's you pretty much understand what it's going to look like when you're shooting it. Right. Mm-hmm. Like the shots, right. The client obviously doesn't see the edit right then. But whenever you're doing the photos, there's a lot of compositing that goes into it after. So you're so you have your Digitech, right. Or your Photoshop, your retoucher on set as well. You're shooting the camera with camera, right. And it's shooting tethered so that the photos download straight into the laptop so that they can immediately start showing the client what you're planning for it to look like afterwards.
Yeah, exactly. And we had especially with tools like Lightroom, you could put an overlay on top of it, and then you could show where the logos would go. You'd have room for the headspace.
Yeah. So you prepared all these assets ahead of time.
Yes.
Right.
So that did save a lot of time, because when the client's in, they'd be like, okay, this is the photo, this is the spacing. So then we just, okay, can you move the child here? Can we move this here?
Yeah.
Can we have the truck more a little bit to the left, a little bit more, like.
Actually, if
that's the thing that clients love to do, like move him a little bit that way. Now move him back.
Well, moving a truck with a car on top in the back of it, it doesn't take 5 seconds.
Yeah. Well, actually, if you can, Josh, we did actually do KVs that were drawings first, right?
Right.
So
let's talk about that.
Streamlined the process a lot. So there was very little there was guesswork that we needed to do. So the one that says KV frames, sorry, that one right there. Oops, sorry, not this one. This is their original brief. Creative ideas. Nope, not these. Those was just a copyright that we came up with. That's the client's brand. Sorry, go back up. 18th October.
This is it.
Nope, that's not ours. That's like their brief.
Yeah, it's completely different.
18 October, it's a folder. Up one more.
Yeah.
No. Well, I guess this works. Okay, yeah. So what we did is after.
These are essentially it's like a storyboard, right? It's hand drawn,
it's like a storyboard.
Hand drawn KV, our own creative, to show them what we have in mind and what it's going to look like afterwards.
So we spent a good month, maybe month and a half, just going through what the copy is going to say, how we're going to lay some things. Some of the layouts the clients already kind of provided, like this orange box on the left. But we had to come up with the copy.
How to fit it together.
Yeah, and like where to put the logos, how they kind of...
And it looks really close to the final product, right? Yeah. Because it's very graphic heavy.
Yeah.
Right.
So that one, I think, was the easier one to do in terms of like we already knew what we're going to shoot. Yeah. Right.
It was...
And then there's the version with Ty.
It was easier to do the photos, but the post-process was...
heavy,
the second hardest one to do.
Oh, wow. Okay.
The reason why is because the perspective of this is a drawing, right? So when you have real people and real furniture, doing the perspective to match everything, especially like with this one, was very difficult.
The client was that picky that they wanted it to?
Yeah, because it felt like, especially if you shoot it from this angle, because we were limited by the locations, right? Yeah. So like when your camera, you can't move further back, you can't move this, or you need the grass, or you need this in the shot. With the lenses that you have, you're limited, right? And then on a drawing, you can resize it, move it, shift this to the back, shift this to the right. But on a photo, you can't. So in Photoshop, I had to do a lot of like perspective change to make things look like, okay, this would look more natural. Because the front of the truck did not look natural in the original photos. I don't know if you remember. It looked really weird, but it was literally just a photo of the truck on the ground, but it looked like unnatural.
Yeah.
It looked like, the front of the truck was humongous, so we had to like shrink it down.
Right. Okay. So you're talking, you're meaning the lens distortion.
Yeah.
In order to capture everything the way you needed it in the photo, you had to manipulate it afterwards to get it back down to the perspective you needed for the entire images.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. Like the one thing to point out was like that we had such a problem with the background. Because in the KVs, you can see there's like...
Okay, so just to notice, we went on location recce, right?
Yeah.
We went scouting first and then at recce, and then we took these photos where we're planning to actually take the photos so that we could actually do this
KV.
Concept art, right? This KV on top of that photos to show them what they're... and that's why it's the same location.
Yeah.
But you were talking about this, Arthur, right?
Yeah, so
power lines.
In these keyframes, you can see that like... Yeah, we had power lines and stuff. And then on Eric's actual photos...
they're removed.
Yeah, they were all removed. And we had probably the 3 different versions where the back was a single house and the back was like a village. The background was just sky, and had to test that out.
And not only that, with this photo, right, because it was taken with like a little bit of a different, you take it with a phone or something, if I remember. And when you take it with a real camera, you could see clearly the houses in the back, right? And we had to like completely remove the neighbor's house in the back to put in the sky.
And you have this phone close to the lens. That means it should be in focus for this, not for this, right?
Yeah.
So this is a bit of like Photoshop.
Yeah, so we had to do a photo of the phone separately in focus and out of focus, and the car in focus and out of focus, so we can...
You can mix it however you need, yeah.
And so these two, we kind of had a very good idea of what we're doing. If you actually go down, right? So for KV3, This is the one that was a lot of guesswork because...
What is this?
So this is supposed to be the 3-day return. We had originally wanted to do this, right? And then I think it was only a few days before the actual shoot, the clients were like, no, we can't do that. It doesn't show any of our... Like, there's no recall to the ad or anything.
This is the guy on the sofa replaced this?
No.
No.
The family in the car.
The family in the car.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Okay.
The cheetah standing next.
Standing next to the family.
So this one, if you scroll down, it's a different.
Yeah, totally different.
But on the day of, I thought we added a few things that weren't planned to begin with, right? Even after a couple of days before, this was changed. But then on the day of, I think the clients wanted the cheetah in the photo with an iPad or something.
No, so the cheetah in the photo. So what it came down to was the clients, and I think there is merit to it. They were saying like, well, there's no recall to the ad, right?
Yeah.
With this particular KV.
Explain ad recall.
So ad recall is when you see your prints or other pieces of work related to the campaign, and you want them to be able to think back to other pieces. So for instance, you see the print,
same look and feel.
Yeah, and you think of, that's from that campaign, that commercial that I saw on TV.
So it ties all your deliverables together
in, and it reinforces a message. Right?
Yeah.
So
in whole.
Yes. Yeah. So I understand, valid point, and then that's kind of where...
Because this was about the animals.
Yeah.
That was the whole thing.
The client was like, well, let's show the moment when they're returning the car. Same as the commercial, when the mom's there and the cheetah's there. I think what you're referring to, Eric, is they wanted to add the kids in last minute.
Kids,
yeah.
And you have your versions of the photos where you took out the kids.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
I like the original concept without the kids.
Because Eric doesn't like children.
That's false. That is false information.
Ladies.
So
I might not want kids, but I like kids.
Here's with the kids. Right. And then Eric's version without the kids. A quick reminder for all of the people that are listening. It's greatly appreciated if you could leave us a review about the podcast and let us know your thoughts.
Also, the kids, I had to do a face transplant on the boy.
Transplant?
Because they wanted the kid to they wanted the kid to look at the dad.
Here's without the kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And where did you do the surgery? Where's this one? Or do we have that? I have the Photoshop file here. I don't think it's in there.
Yeah.
It should be one of the layers. So the kid isn't looking at the dad. The kid is like looking towards more the mom, I believe.
So you change the perspective on his face.
Yeah, I literally just replaced this in
his head.
His head, yeah.
Can I touch on this really quickly, just for anybody who's planning to do something similar? So what we did here, right, is, and this was what we did even from when we were doing the keyframes, the test, right? You can see we made this grid. So our Lena, our visual artist, kind of made the grid up to test so that we knew that if we took a horizontal picture a certain way, we could implement it vertically as well without having to like do much adjustment to it. Some adjustment, not like completely change, make sure everything fit.
Good way to save time.
Yeah, it was a really good way to save time.
Yeah.
Ensured like the deliverables worked and we didn't have to go back and reshoot anything. Yeah. So grids, guys, always make grids and test things out.
Yeah. Without shooting tethered, it would have been impossible to be on time.
We actually had this on set, right? So the DIT, the Digitech was able to plug it in.
Yeah, that's what Eric's meaning.
Yeah. And then we saw on set that it worked. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, where's the children? Is it that one that says dad and daughter face? So if you turn that off.
No, that's just some sort of an adjustment layer.
Yeah, just made their face.
So let's do this. This is kind of cool. Some people will appreciate this. Let's just turn off these layers as we go in this Photoshop file so they can kind of see how everything that goes into the KV. And this is everything from like removing reflections to readjusting color on certain parts of, their face or whatever it is. Like there's a bunch of different stuff. And this is actually, when I was going through this a moment ago, this is actually a lot less than some KVs would have. Some KVs would have, 50 or 100 different layers. We have like 15.
Let me explain to you. There's literally about that, but it's because Photoshop only takes 2 gigs for PSD. So I made like this is the 6 different version of that 2 gig file. So like when I got to a certain stage and I knew we were okay, I literally deleted the old layers and just started with the last one that they approved, and then continued on making changes to that, and then deleted those layers, made a new Photoshop file. Always kept the layers so I can go back and grab them. But
we were not deleting stuff.
No, I was making new files. And
you're creating a new file.
Creating a new file and just starting with the last.
Yeah. Otherwise, you're working with a file that's so enormous.
Exactly, because all the other layers I was turning them off and wasn't using them. So to save space and make the process. So 15. Faster.
Yeah.
There's actually 50 or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm working off, this is during COVID, right? So I'm editing at home on a little MacBook Air that's not really made to handle huge Photoshop files.
You didn't have those sweet M1 and M2 chips yet.
It wasn't
Intel, right?
Yeah, I was working on like an M5, like a 12, no, it was a 12-inch MacBook.
He was using the OG G3 tower.
Literally a 12-inch MacBook.
All right, here, let's go through these real quick. So we turn off that layer. That's that graphic.
Yeah.
That's that graphic on the side. Obviously, these had their own Photoshop files too, right? So
they had their own, Illustrator files that we made for them.
Right.
Yeah.
So now we can kind of zoom in and see what's happening here. So we'll take this off. And so that was an adjustment layer of brightness of some sort.
Yeah.
There was the face. If you look at the kids, the daughter and the husband's face, you can see this just is adding a little bit of something to it.
Next one is car panel, I believe.
So this right here, this car panel. So this is a big thing in cars. Cars catch reflections like crazy.
Yeah.
Right. When you're shooting video, especially, my gosh, this is why like a DOP that does cars is so expensive most of the time, because they know how to do this and they know how to shoot and create reflections. How do you say this? They know how to block out the reflections or create the correct type of reflections to reflect on the car.
Yeah.
Right. It's a very, very big particular talent that they have.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so difficult and expensive to shoot cars.
So I had to do it in Photoshop because we didn't have the time.
Not expensive to shoot them, but if you want to do it right, it becomes expensive.
Not only that, it takes time.
Yeah. Right? Look at that. See, that's what I'm saying right there. So this is so much better, right? So we have this. Yeah. Take all that off, and now you can see her there. You can see the grass in the back. You can see all this stuff, right? In the car,
like the big scrim.
It looks like you shot it on a phone or something, right? Yeah. Oh, and then this here.
Yeah.
Did we clean this up?
I think you cleaned it up in one of the layers. Yeah. Somewhere.
Yeah. Not in this one.
No, the final one is cleaned up.
Yeah, that was the other thing. So like whenever you're doing cars, right?
Yeah.
Because if you're not getting the car from the actual, like if it's not for a brand, right? Like this is not for a brand. You're renting a car that's rented normally, right?
Yeah.
So you're not getting a car from a showroom. And so there's going to be like nicks and dings and stuff around it, right? And so like you got to take care of that in post as well. Photoshop is one thing, but then if you're doing that and moving images, right? Like video, then it's a whole other thing. Yeah. Now it's a whole other layer.
Yeah. For the video, we did have to actually do a lot of adjustments.
Okay. So here was something, Eric. What is this? You wanted to recreate the size of the wheels or something?
No, the client chose, this is the photo they chose, it had no feet, right? And then they came back, we're like, oh, well, I think we should have feet. And I was like, okay.
Have feet?
Yeah, because click on it, right? The feet are, this is the
Oh, you mean photo. You guys cropped it at a certain, so you took another photo and extended it down, you mean?
Yeah, I took the feet from another photo and stitched it onto this photo.
Got it.
So she would have feet. So they would both have feet, right? And I had to adjust the.
And you made him fatter?
No, he made him thinner, right?
No, that's fatter because the head was too big and he looked too skinny for it. So
instead of making his head smaller, he made his body wider?
No, go to his head. His head should change too, right?
Really? Okay. Wait.
Yeah, see?
Yeah. What is this? This is hilarious.
It makes a great GIF.
Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun. All right.
Okay.
And then this, what are you doing to the girl here?
Slimmed her down as well.
Yeah, you give her a little slimmer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
that was a request.
That's that. All right. Cool. That was it. So, and then in the end, you ended up with something like this.
Yeah.
Minus the blue, yeah.
Yeah, and this is just a working file, right? This is not the final one, but this is just some of the layers and stuff we put together for this. So
yeah,
cool. Okay, a couple other things to note. You shot something backwards with steering wheel or something.
Yeah, with the car.
Oh, that's a different KV. So that's the one where the car's coming into the house and there's a hand.
Yeah,
that's KV2, I believe.
You can go to.
So because it's another country, is that right? We had to flip it.
Yeah,
we didn't flip it. We just.
Or you put the cheetah on the other side somehow, or what?
Yeah. So if you go to the folder where it says car plates, you'll see what the original photos are looking like. So this is So this is the car with nobody in it.
Okay.
See, and then we added him here. So I told him to pretend to be.
Oh, okay. Right, because you can see the steering wheel here right now on the other side, and you removed it, right?
I removed it.
Yeah. Cool.
And put it on the other side. To make it look.
And then these are all the plates, just so everyone understands. So like we shot this so you have the background, you have stuff to work with.
See the houses in the background I was talking about?
Yeah.
So that was very difficult.
And then we have the next one with just the car without the person in it.
Yeah.
And then we have this with the cheetah in there. And then you're using bits and pieces of all these to put them together.
Yeah. And if you look at the original with the cheetah in it, look at the car.
Yeah.
All the photos.
All the reflections in there.
Yeah, I had to remove all.
Yeah. So this is one thing to show them. So this is why you have the retoucher on set as well, so that you can make sure that you don't put yourself in any position that you can't correct later, right?
Yeah.
Because you can't go reshoot again.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and you can see from there too that the front of the truck looks like weird a bit, right? So.
I don't know.
The perspective. So if you look at this version versus the final one. Like look at the size of the car and everything, and you look at the final one.
So let's go to here, open this, and then to here.
So,
yeah. All right. So
there you go. So see the final one kind of looks really small and flat,
And the truck looked like you can't barely tell, so I had to extend it, make it look a bit longer.
Yeah, I mean, there's some warping to it or something.
Yeah.
And then here we're covering up logos and stuff, right? Because these are other brands that we can't put in the advertising.
Right.
And so you're taking these out as well.
Mm.
Yeah. So there's a lot going on there. So this whole thing, right, was a graphic we had them put on the day of, right? It's not actually painted on,
just
right? It's just a sticker. Yeah. Clear sticker. Yeah. And we had all this while we were on the moving on the video too.
Yeah.
To take care of. So
we had to remove all that. And
did we put this through Flame? I don't remember.
Yes, we put it through.
No, we did most of it in DaVinci, no?
Sorry, we had certain shots that were fixed in After Effects.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who did that? I don't remember.
It was Ball.
Okay. Yeah.
So Ball, Duck of CG.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. So that's kind of what went into this. Yeah, I don't really have anything else to add. This is not my forte photos, so this is kind of Eric's thing. So.
To go back to the other KV, just a quick note that one of the things, right? When we were on set, we had the clients choose the photos, right?
Yeah.
And accidentally, they went into the folder where there were blurry photos, which we're not supposed to show clients, right? But sometimes that happens.
Yeah, you control it. You let your client see. So
you don't want to show the back photo, right? You just take another one. But sometimes they go into it.
Not that you're hiding something from them, but there's no sense in showing them things.
Yeah,
that
you don't want to show bad photo. You just show them the good photos.
Right.
You retake better photos if they're not happy with it.
And they saw a bad photo.
They saw a bad photo, but they wanted that photo. And they're like, oh, can you change the photo of him? And his face was blurry, right? So I had to find some AI software online that could unblur people's faces, right?
Yeah.
But if you look at
a reverse deep fake.
You mean KV1, right?
Yeah, the guy looking at his phone, right?
So you use some sort of AI to enhance it so that it would de-blur it or something.
Yeah, I sent you the before and after so you can.
Where's that at? In Lark?
Yeah, in Lark.
Oh yeah. I did see that. Hang on. Well, that's what that was you were sending me. I understand now. So there's
the
blurry.
Original. I can see how blurry it is, right? And this is
after AI.
After AI.
Yeah. And then you have to just get rid of some of the grain and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Does the client know this?
No. but I couldn't deliver a blurry picture to the client.
Can you fix this blurred photo? Yeah, no problem.
They didn't see that it was blurred.
That's crazy. Yeah, that's awesome.
But when I was blowing it up, I was like, oh my God, it's blurred. Yeah. We can't use that.
Well, it looks like the AI put in like face pores and all kinds of stuff, man.
Yeah.
That's impressive. Wow. Oh, cool. Okay, that's awesome.
Yeah, the power of AI.
Yeah.
In the future,
I thought this was just your Photoshop skills. Like it looks that way because it's AI.
I wish I just put a sharpen filter on it and it would have fixed it. But
so what we could do from now on is shoot blurry photos, and then use AI to de-blur it. Yeah. This could be our new process. What do you think?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. But it took me quite a half a day just to figure out how to, because I was trying to do it the normal way, right?
Yeah,
and I couldn't figure it out. And I'm like, there must be a way that I can do this.
Yeah.
Just to clarify, when Eric says AI, he doesn't mean like artificial intelligence. He means almost infinity amount of time to fix it.
Almost infinity. Yeah. All right. Cool. All right, guys. I think that's it. It wraps up the podcast.
All right. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for talking about this. This was fun.
All right.